Hey guys, it is January the 19th, 2025, and I hope everybody's been having a great day so far today. I hope everybody's been having a great week, great weekend. It's been a pretty rough week for me this week. I had my surgery and all that stuff, and then on top of it, I got so much stuff going on here at my house. I got home from the hospital Friday afternoon, and I'd already known, but my kids had gotten sick. I didn't know that my oldest son was sick. I found that out when I got home that day, and the next morning my wife had already taken my youngest son to the doctor earlier in the week. He has pneumonia. And then my wife got sick. And then Saturday morning, my oldest son woke up feeling really bad. So my wife took my youngest son back to the doctor again because they told her that if he was still sick, that he needed to go back after 2 days, which had already been like 3 days since he had gone to the doctor, and he still was not doing well, still running fever. So they said they might need to prescribe him another antibiotic because they had him on a Z-Pak or azithromycin, and they said that they might have to put him on augmentin as well on top of the azithromycin. And then my oldest son went and they tested him. Come to find out, my oldest son has the flu, and my wife has pneumonia as well. So now everybody except for my daughter and myself are sick in the house. I've been living downstairs down in this room since I got back home. I'm sleeping on the couch down here, which isn't the most ideal situation when you come home from having surgery, but, I'm trying my best not to get sick. Pretty stressed out right now. It's just been a really rough week. But everything's going to be okay. It's all going to work out. It's just one of those weeks. My surgery was pretty rough, to say the least. And if I can say anything to you guys right now, any of you that are thinking about having a drink, it truly is not worth the repercussions that come behind it. And the thing is that not all of us get sick from this, and that's just the fact of the matter. But when it does happen, I can just say that it's so frustrating. You just get tired, and you get sick and tired of dealing with it. You get sick and tired of going to the hospital. You get tired of the surgeries. And the thing is I want to live. I want to be here for my family. I want to continue to create these videos and try to help people. At the same time, I have to help myself. And one of the things that comes along with it is having to do what I have to do in order to continue to thrive. And it's just like the other day. Guys, I did not want to go down there. I thought about it back and forth about just not going. That's how bad I did not want to do this. I knew it was going to be a very painful procedure. I've been through part of this before. They had to do another splenic embolization. I've told you guys about this before, but when they did my original TIPS procedure, the one that didn't work out back in January of 2022 or 2023, they did a splenic embolization during that procedure and killed off half of my spleen. Well, from that time period to here recently, my spleen has grown, and they said that it was trying to make up for the half that was no longer there. So it started growing in size, and the varices started to get really large. Which is the reason why they decided, it's not worth the risk. Those varices are so large that they were going to break, and then I would suffer internal bleeding. So they went ahead and did another splenic embolization. So I only had half of my spleen left going into this, but my spleen had enlarged. So what they did was basically cut off the blood supply to half of the half that I have. So now I have like a quarter of my spleen left. And, one of the things that comes along with liver disease and all this stuff is splenic enlargement. Doing splenic embolization when you have, cirrhosis and varices and portal hypertension, all that stuff is very common. And it's one of those things that, I wanted to talk about today because I think that it's so important to discuss this. Because I just want to make sure that people are aware of how painful this can be. And for any of you guys out there who have dealt with a splenic embolization, who are watching this, I'd love to hear your story in the comments, if you don't mind. Just tell me what it was like for you. Because I can tell you that it was not fun for me, both times. Extremely painful. One of the most painful things that I've dealt with this far. The only thing I can think that's probably even close is when the ascites get so bad that it's putting so much pressure on, on your stomach and on your chest and on your lungs. That can be extremely painful. And one of the biggest problems I have too is I've broken almost all of my ribs throughout my lifetime. They're all broken, cracked. And when I get ascites really bad, it pushes on my rib cage and causes those places where I've cracked my ribs to be really sore, and it just hurts, which it just causes a lot of pain, and it makes it almost impossible for me to do anything other than just sit around, lay in the bed. If you guys can't tell just by my voice right now, I'm just a little bit of a mess right now. This has been a struggle this go round. I'm just tired of going through this stuff, but it is what it is. And the reason that I come on here every day is to talk about this with you guys, just so you don't have to go through the same things I'm going through. And I can promise you with every single bone in my body that drink isn't worth it. It really isn't. Every time that you put that bottle to your mouth or that glass to your lips or whatever, you're causing damage to your body. And, you're not doing yourself any good by drinking that stuff. I mean, it's literal poison that we're pouring into our mouths. And I drank that poison for many, many years. And the funny thing about all this is, well, it's not even funny. The disgusting thing about all this is that while I was down there, my wife called me the night before my procedure and told me that my youngest son was really sick. And there's more to the story. It doesn't have to do with me, and it's not really my place to talk about it. But we had somebody else in our family that got sick. So we know kind of how all this kind of started. So it wasn't like a huge surprise that he had gotten sick. Kind of figured it might happen. But the night before my procedure, my wife called and told me, and I burst out with tears. My mom and I were walking around Harris Teeter in Charleston. We had gone to get something to eat that night. And the restaurant that we decided to go to, when we looked it up online, they said they opened up at 4:00. And when we got there, it didn't open until 5. We went to this place. It was in the, if any of you guys are familiar with James Island, we went to this place called the Poor House. But they have a Chinese restaurant in there. I don't know. It's not necessarily what they say is Chinese food, but it's more like I guess upper scale Chinese influenced food. But we had to go kill some time while we were waiting for the restaurant to open, because we got there at like 4:15 and went to open the door and realized they weren't open until 5. It was on the door that they opened at 5 o'clock. I don't know why it said that online. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is that we left and drove down the street to Harris Teeter just to kind of walk around and kill some time. And we're walking around the store, and my wife called and told me that my youngest son was sick. And I just burst out into tears in the middle of the store and had to walk out because I was crying so much. It just was not the news that I wanted right before my procedure. And then on top of it, we went back to the hotel after we had dinner, and I passed out that night. I mean, I went straight to sleep. I was asleep by like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or something like that. I slept the whole entire night, which is crazy. I usually have a really hard time going to sleep before these procedures, but this time I don't know why. I don't know if I was just so burnt out, stressed out, just tired. I just laid down on the bed and was done. Next morning, woke up, took a shower. I laid in the bed and watched TV for a little while. My mom got ready. We didn't have to be at the hospital until 10. But we went ahead and left the hotel like 9 o'clock that morning. Went ahead and headed over there, which I'm really glad that we did. Because when we got over there, the parking garage was almost completely full when we got there that morning. We had to drive all the way up to the top floor almost to park. I think it was that last upper deck, and then the top deck was all that was left in the parking garage for the hospital that we were at. We were at the main MUSC hospital in downtown Charleston. We get there, we had to drive all through the parking garage up to the top, finally get a parking spot. That took a long time for us to get a spot. Then we got into the hospital, got to the floor where interventional radiology is, which is on the 5th floor. I had a hard time remembering what elevator we had to get on, so we had to ask somebody. We finally got up to the place, went up there, gave them my information. They told me to wait, and then, I don't know, I waited maybe 30 minutes, and they called my name, and they took a whole group of us to the back. I think there was about 8 of us, all men. It was all men that went back there. I was the youngest of the whole group, and I was speaking with all those gentlemen. They were all in their 70s or older, and here I am, 45-year-old man with all these other older gentlemen about to go have this procedure done. You just don't see a lot of younger people in interventional radiology. Well, I haven't in, in my time dealing with interventional radiology. I don't know how often younger people go or middle-aged people go, but I was the youngest of all the people that I saw. Got in there, they told me to get undressed, put on my gown and all that stuff, and then I waited and waited and waited, and finally they came and got me and took me to the back for my procedure. And they told me we were going to be doing sedation or light sedation today, which they gave me this stuff called Versed. And I asked them, how much of that did you give me? Which they told me 8 milligrams of Versed throughout the procedure. And I said, is that a lot? And they said, it's a lot. I did not go to sleep one time. Why I have so much problems, one of the reasons why they have a problem sedating me is because my liver can't completely, process the sedation medication. Since my liver is compromised, I guess it just doesn't process properly. Now, I'm not going to say that I wasn't in a state of, a little bit more calm. I probably would have been like totally freaking out if it hadn't been for the medication that they had me on, the sedation. But they went ahead, and as soon as I got in there, they told me to slide over to the other table, off the bed. I slid off the bed onto the operating table, and they went ahead and gave me my sedation. I laid there fully awake, expecting to fall asleep at some point, and I didn't. And the doctor did his whole lineup with the whole crew, the whole operating crew. which, I do want to say, if any of those guys ever watch any of my videos, Dr. Guyed, and your team, I can't thank you guys enough for everything that you've done for me at this point. You guys have literally saved my life, but, so thank you. Everybody at MUSC, all the doctors, nurses, everybody, they're fabulous. And they've been so wonderful. I can't thank you guys enough. But like I said, I went in, they started the procedure, and I laid there, and they did their thing. And I laid on the table awake the whole entire time, going through the procedure. I was very uncomfortable going through that procedure. It hurt very bad. And on top of it, the last time I went and had a procedure done in interventional radiology, they put a pad on my tailbone. I'm a pretty skinny guy, and I haven't always been. I was 250 pounds leading up to this before I got sick. Now I'm pretty skinny, and they didn't put that little pad on my tailbone like they did the last time. And while I laid on that table, it was just hard stainless steel. They had a little sheet on top of it, but you're laying on a hard table, and it was really bothering my back, and my tailbone was just just sitting on that stainless steel table. And I kept telling the nurse my back hurt. And she was like, there's really nothing that we could do for you at this point. You just got to stay still. And they kept telling me stay still because I was squirming around quite a bit. It was really hurting when they were messing around with my spleen. I could feel them in there. I did look at the screen a couple times, although I don't like to do that, and I have no idea what I was looking at. It was the strangest images I've ever seen in my life. How they know what the heck they're doing when they're looking at those images on that screen totally baffles me. It's it's all gray and black, and it's all shades of gray and black is what they're looking at on this huge screen. It's like a 60-inch screen that hangs above the table. And, they've got the x-ray machine that sits over top of your stomach, and then they've got this big screen that they're working off of. So what they're doing this whole entire time, they're looking up at the screen. They're not looking at you. They're looking at the screen as they do their procedure, and they're running wires up through your arteries and your veins, and they're putting coils in there and all this crazy stuff. And I looked up at the screen, and I could see the best way I can describe this, and is if you've ever seen the movie, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a movie about aliens, and it's not an old movie either, but these big UFOs show up. There's that redheaded lady, she's a very popular actress, really pretty. She plays in it. But anyway, they end up going on one of these UFOs, and they're trying to communicate with these beings, and they're these big octopus-like beings. But they've got this glass wall that separates them inside of the spacecraft. And everything behind that wall where the aliens are at on the other side is kind of black and shades of gray. And there's these things dangling down across the screen and all this stuff, or across the glass on the other side. That's the best way I can describe what it looked like on that screen. I do not understand how they know what they're looking at. But once again, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not an interventional radiologist. So, those guys, it's like magic what they're doing. But the surgery was about 5 hours. I was awake the whole entire time. They took me out of surgery, back to recovery. I was in a lot of pain. And that they came in there and spoke to me and said, we need to keep you overnight. And I already knew that I was probably going to be spending the night there. But they came in and said, look, we need to keep you here for observation, manage your pain, and to make sure that you're not bleeding inside. So I spent the night. They took care of me the whole entire night, did a fabulous job. That morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning, they came in and took my blood. that morning I spoke with the nurse and I just asked her, because I hadn't seen the hospitalist yet, to find out what was going to happen for that day. And she said that my blood work all looked fine. My hemoglobin had dropped by 1 point, which wasn't crazy. My hemoglobin was like 13 and a half going into my procedure, and it was 12 and a half or something like that the next day. So it had dropped by 1 point. And when interventional radiology finally came in to speak with me that morning, they said that's totally normal. And he said that happens with just about everybody. Their hemoglobin will drop 1 point after those procedures. And I mean, they went in there and, like I said, did a splenic embolization. So I think they put a coil into one of the main arteries that leads to my spleen, or leads to a portion of my spleen, or that quarter of my spleen that's left, or the half of the half is the best way to say it, I guess. I'm pretty sure, I was reading my report yesterday, I got online and was reading it, and I'm pretty sure they said they placed a coil into that one of those arteries. And then they fixed that pseudoaneurysm in my liver, which they went in there and they cauterized it and placed a coil in there as well. He did tell me that the pseudoaneurysm in my liver had actually even gotten bigger from the imaging that he had previously to when I went for my procedure, and he's kind of concerned about it. I have to go back in just a couple weeks and have CAT scans again so they can take a look at it. Might have to go back in there and address it again. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that yet. When I was in the procedure, before the procedure even happened, my doctor told me that they were probably going to try to shoot contrast down through those stents that are in my liver that were just placed like a month ago. But they couldn't see it on the imaging when they were doing the procedure. So that's part of what they're going to be looking at in my CAT scans. They're going to shoot contrast down through there and see if the flows are going okay. They will have to go back through and clean those stents out again. I don't know. And then they're going to look at my spleen and see what's going on with that and make sure that all worked out okay. So I'm not quite out of the woods yet. We're just going to have to wait and see. They did place me on azithromycin, a 2-week supply of azithromycin. So I'll be on azithromycin all the way this week and the next, and then it's 14 days of azithromycin that I'm going to be on. And I started on Friday. So not this Friday, but the next Friday will be my last dose. So I'm going to be on that quite a while. And the reason that they placed me on the antibiotics, because my doctor told me they were worried that I could end up with an abscess in my spleen from the embolization. So once again, I have to wait and see and make sure, I don't think anything's going to happen. I'm not planning on anything happening, but you just never know. They did tell me, this is the catch-22, that if I start experiencing any flu-like symptoms, to come straight to the hospital. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to the emergency room. And that was coming directly from my doctor, who called me from his cell phone on Friday after I'd gotten home. He called me personally and said, look, he just wanted to explain how important it is. Like, if you start feeling a fever, body aches, chills, achy, you need to come straight down here, because you could have an infection from the procedure that we just did. And he said that there's a high chance of me ending up with an infection from this procedure. Why that is, I don't know. I didn't ask, but I guess it's just part of what can happen with this. I don't remember when they did the original splenic embolization, if I was on antibiotics. I just don't remember. So I just can't remember. Like I said, my mind's kind of mush right now. It's just been a week. It's been a really hectic, crazy week, full of surprises. Just stuff I just wasn't expecting to deal with. And then they come home and my wife and my kids are all sick. I mean, I haven't even been able to give my kids a hug since I've been home from a surgery. I've had to stay away from them. I am very afraid of getting sick right now. I don't want to get sick. I know that's going to complicate things if I do, so I'm just trying to stay away. I'm just staying basically down here, sleeping on the couch every night, and trying my best to just stay away from the family. My wife's been spraying Lysol on everything, sanitizing everything, and like I said, I've just stayed away from everybody. I have been sitting down here watching TV and sleeping since I got home. It's been rough, and I hope that by me sharing what's been going on with me, that I can discourage just one person from not picking that bottle up, because we all make those choices, and we make a choice every day. Are we going to stay sober today, or are we going to give in and have that drink? Like I was talking about earlier, when we were down in Charleston, I got that phone call, and the first thing that popped in my head is I could use a drink right now. How crazy is that? I'm in Charleston, about to have surgery the next day because of my addiction and the damage that I've caused to my body. And here I am thinking about the same substance that put me in the situation. That's addiction. And that's what can happen. That's how powerful of a substance that stuff is. That I'm thinking that this could fix my problems right now. And it's not going to fix any problem. It's just going to add to the problem. It's going to make the problem worse. It really shows how powerful alcohol can be. That would even cross my mind. It's just insane. But that's what happened to me. And I don't know if you guys can tell by the shakiness in my voice or whatever. But even talking about this, it just makes me nervous just talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. A lot of this stuff can be very personal. For any of the people that are on here on YouTube, spilling their guts, sharing their lives with the world to try to help people. This is our personal lives that we come on here and discuss this stuff with you guys, and it can be tough sometimes. And there are so many other people out here doing what I'm doing as well, and I know it's not easy for them either. Especially when you have something that when you talk about something very personal like that, it's not easy to do. Especially when you go out and you step outside of your comfort zone and share something with the world on here, and then somebody comes on and bashes you or says something really mean to you after you've done that, because it happens all the time. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Say whatever you like. I'm really here trying to help people and trying to make sure that people understand the consequences that come along with drinking. I don't even know what number this is on surgeries that I've had at this point. I don't even know. I have no idea. I know that I'm getting close to 30, maybe. It's somewhere in that number range. It's been a lot, and it's tough. This is really, since all this happened, my whole life has completely changed. Completely. Yeah, I feel like a totally different person than who I was back then, back when I was a drinker. I just looking at pictures of myself, and then I don't even recognize that person anymore and who he was, because I was such a different person. I don't know, it's just crazy to me. I was just walking down the hallway just a second ago, and I saw a picture of myself from my daughter's high school graduation, just looking at the picture. It's like, I don't even look like that anymore. I don't know. I hope that by watching today's video that, like I said, if there's any of you out there who have been, playing around with the idea in your brain today, because that's how it starts. It's like a seed that gets planted, and if we keep watering it, it's going to grow. And it's like that with our drinking. We get an idea in our head first thing in the morning, and we start thinking about, man, it'd be nice to have a drink today. And as the day goes, we continue to think about that. We continue to build on it. We let that seed turn into a sprout, and it keeps growing until it comes to a point where there's fruit on the vine. And we have to make the decision, do we want to pick that fruit or just leave it alone? And the best thing to do is just not give in. Don't do it. There are so many other people that come on here and make videos, and they're talking about this as well, and how when we go back, it starts that cycle all over again. It's so hard to get out of that cycle. Don't go back to that, because, like I've said so many times on here, you have that one drink, and then 3 years has gone by, and you don't even know how it even happened. You get 3 months under your belt, and then one night you decide to have a drink, and the next thing you know, 3 years has passed, and you keep thinking back on, I had 3 months. What happened? And you don't even really remember how it even began and how you got back in the situation that you're in again from one drink, one decision. That's all it takes, is just one decision. Make the other decision today if that's what you're thinking about. Because trust me when I tell you, laying on an operating table for 5 hours while you're wide awake because your liver is so compromised that it can't even process the medication they're giving you to try to sedate you. I mean, the whole thing is your fault. It's all my fault that the sedation doesn't even work because I drank the way that I did. And it just leads to a bad situation. And, like I said, what I had to go through the other day, it wasn't fun. This has been a rough, last couple months. It's been really rough. I've had to leave and have 3 surgeries in the past few months. And, one of them was basically an emergency surgery. The second one, I went and had my scans, and they found out that my stents were clogged up, so I had to go back. They had to place 2 more stents, and then I had to go back again this time because my spleen, this is something totally different. I had to have the splenic embolism because of the splenic varices, and then I had a pseudoaneurysm in my liver that they were worried was going to just break. And if it broke, that'd probably be it. I probably wouldn't be here talking with you guys right now. It's one of those things where you just don't even know what's even going on. And next thing you know, you just start throwing up blood. And, you get to the hospital and it's too late. You've bled too much. I'm at kind of a loss for words right now, but I hope that by watching this today, if you take anything away from today's video, is that drink is not worth it. It really isn't. And if I could go back in time and change it all, I would. I can't, though. And this is what my life is now. I thought about it the whole way down to Charleston the other day about how if I hadn't have gotten myself in the situation that I did and drank the way that I did, what could my life be? I was watching the these guys, it was the Golf Channel or something like that. I was watching cable television in the hotel room, and there was these young guys on there, and they were playing over in like Saudi Arabia or something like that, some competition, and these just young guys, and I just was watching, and I was just thinking about like how they had so much in front of them in their life. So many things, experiences, things that they're going to do with themselves. Their whole life is ahead of them. And it was just, I was kind of comparing my life to theirs and thinking about how the luxury of being able to think and dream about what could become is, I don't really have that option anymore. These big dreams and stuff like that. I've got so many health challenges and problems and all this stuff. It kind of takes away from that. I just know that my life's going to be filled with problems from here on out, just medically. And once again, all because of my consumption. But, guys, I'm at 36 minutes, and I probably need to go ahead and get off of here. I'm really tired right now, too. It's, like I said, it's just been a rough week, and I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now. I think I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. But guys, don't worry about me. I'm not in like a bad headspace or anything like that. And there's just been a lot happening here with me, just with my family, just everything. And you guys know how it is. Just sometimes when things just hit you all at once, I mean, it can just be kind of overwhelming sometimes. And, you just got to process it all. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying my best to process everything that's happening, and I'm still fighting. I'm not going to give up. If I was giving up, I wouldn't have went to Charleston this past week. I would have said, the heck with that. I'm not going to deal with it. But I went because I want to be here. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off for today. I really do appreciate you watching, and I hope, if anything, that this video today kept you from picking that bottle up and making that split-second decision to have that drink. Because, like I said, it's just not worth it. It's not worth all the stuff that's going to end up happening on the back end. It really is not worth it. So, guys, let me know, like I said in the comments, if any of you guys have had splenic embolization done, what was it like for you? Was it as painful for you as it was for me? Because both times I've had it done, it was terribly painful. And like I said, this is one of the things that happens a lot of the times with liver disease. It is very common for that to happen, the enlarged spleen and all that stuff. I mean, it is pretty much everybody that gets liver disease has that problem as well. Not every single person, but a lot of us do. It's very, very, very common. And it's one of those things that I can promise you with every bone in my body, you do not want to have to go through. And it can be avoided. Don't drink today. Stay sober. And with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And until tomorrow, I will see y'all then. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.